And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Luke chapter 21 and verse 25 and 26. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. It's the brother Aharon coming back at you with a quick lesson, and Lord willing, it'll be edifying, uplifting, and informative unto the elect. All right, and I came across an article here. See if I can pull it up real quick. Okay, I believe today is the 30th of December, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. All right, and it looks like we're definitely shifting into that phase that we've been warning about for quite some time now. All right, and it's not just us that's been warning about, but these so-called elites have been doing a good job telling the world what the plans are for the future. Okay, and their plans for the future is all about basically controlling of the people, controlling of the resources, and so on and so forth. All right, now this article is going to be focused more on Bill Gates and his infatuation with diseases and how he's going to be able to fulfill his plan that he talked about years ago on that TED Talk stage about the ability to reduce the global population by 10 to 15% by means of eugenics and so-called good Vanessas. Okay, effective Vanessas, right? So we're at the stage where I guess that's coming to fruition, and they're going to mask it with the fear of a virus. All right, and I believe that so-called virus is what I have now, which is that BF, otherwise known as the Angry Bird. All right, and I just say Thawada Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that I got it because at least it gives me an idea, all right, of how this thing is actually going to be like, because based on what happened with C-19, it'll be very easy for us to sit here and say, oh, that's nothing. That's just them saying that it's something just so they could lie to us and make us go take the jump shot, whatever. Not us per se, but the world, speaking from their perspective, but the reality is this thing is actually like it's a real, virus, whatever, however they set it up, right? First they said it was something that was going on between animals, right? And now it's transformed to become infecting people. Okay, so we got to pay close attention to how they're going to go about not only treating or giving some type of therapy to the animals and to the people. Okay, now I find it very interesting that they said the first severe case was in Louisiana. Okay, now Louisiana is known for its agriculture, right? It's agriculture. Let me see if I can pull some information up real quick on Louisiana. All right, and lo and behold, Louisiana is also down south, where a lot of Jake is at, right? So it'll be very interesting why they'll start over there, because this whole BF thing also started out in so-called Africa, right? It didn't start in Europe, right? You notice it never starts in these European countries. It started in Asia back in 2019, 2020, and now this new thing here is starting in Africa, and now it's hit here in American soil. All right, but let's read a little bit about Louisiana's economic contribution, and how that's going to take a hit once this thing starts spreading. Okay, before we go into this article, right? It says in 2022, Louisiana generated around $4.4 billion in agricultural cash receipts, with the highest valued commodities being broilers, which is chicken, sugarcane for sugar and seed, and soybeans. That same year, the value of Louisiana's agricultural production and processing industries represented 3.1% of total state GDP. Some of the dollars generated by these industries end up being respent within the local economy, bringing additional value to the state through multiplier effects. Okay, let's keep going. It says economic impact and contribution studies measure these effects, which can be broken down into direct, indirect, and induced economic effects. Okay, websites, reports, fact sheets, and articles related to the economic impacts and contributions of Louisiana's food, fiber, and forest industries can be found below, and then it gives the whole thing. But remember, there was a disaster that happened back in 2005, I believe, called Katrina. And where did it hit? It hit Louisiana. That was 2005. 2025, going back to Louisiana, but this time it's going to be a BF. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. Anyway, let's go back to this article here. It says, Gil Bates is no stranger to warnings. Actually, the title, Salakia, I'm all over the place. Bear with me. The title of the article says, Urgent Warning, Bill Gates announces the next endemic date and outbreak location. Okay. It says, Gil Bates is no stranger to warnings, but this time he's not missing words. Okay. Together with the WHO and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which he's the largest funder of, which makes him basically the one who's in control of all their policies, right? So here it is, you have the World Health Organization, which we call the World Health Organization, having this treaty of over 194 nations or countries coming together under this one treaty, that upon the announcement of a public health emergency of international concern, all nations that are under that treaty, their laws, their constitutions, or however they govern themselves is suspended, and they have to go based on those laws that are going to be dictated by the Director General, okay, which in this case is Tedros. All right. So if Bill Gates is the one who's the largest funder of this organization, and they're the ones who are pushing this agenda on the world, that means that Bill Gates is pretty much pushing his agenda on the world. Okay. So the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and other global health powerhouses, Gates has predicted the arrival of severe epidemic enterovirus respiratory syndrome, abbreviated as SEERS. And I believe we talked about this, if not a year ago. All right, it might be the year before that. All right, something known as SEERS. Okay, and it's almost a play on words coming towards the prophets, because the prophets before were called prophets were known as seers. Okay, so it says, and this is all going to be in 2025. Okay, it says, if the name doesn't send shivers down your spine, the details will. This isn't a hypothetical scenario, it's a calculated projection backed by catastrophic contagion. That's in quotes. A chilling simulation exercise conducted in Belgium. Okay, catastrophic contagion. Let me see if we could get some information on that. No, they got nothing on that. Okay. So remember back in 2019, they ran a simulation known as Event 201. Okay, and then shortly after that, exactly what they ran came out and became Corona at that time, right? So a similar thing has been done here, known as catastrophic contagion, and it was a simulation that was ran this time in Belgium. Okay. It says Sears won't just make headlines; they will rewrite history. With a potential death toll that dwarfs C-19, this virus is poised to be the deadliest challenge humanity has faced in decades. Do you remember Event 201? Oh, there you go. Let's read this. That eerily prophetic simulation exercise that predicted a global CV-demic just months before C-19? Well, they're at it again. And this time, the stakes are even higher. Remember, Gil Bates said, this one will get their attention. Or he said the next one will get their attention, right? So the next one is here, okay? It says the new simulation, catastrophic contagion. Very interesting why they will use those kind of names, but didn't just throw around theoretical scenarios. It delivered a step-by-step preview of what's coming. The focus? A virus that spreads faster, kills quicker, and evades containment efforts more effectively than anything we've encountered. While C-19 brought the world to its knees, Sears threatens to obliterate the fragile systems we barely managed to hold together. If you thought C-19 was bad, brace yourself. Sears, according to the experts, combines the worst traits of respiratory and enteric viruses. Think about a virus that is airborne, resilient, and merciless. Sounds like a plague that the Lord is going to be sending soon, right? And who better to use than a guy like Gil Bates, right? It's a match made in hell in this case, right? It says it doesn't just infect, it devastates. Prolonged incubation periods mean carriers will spread it unknowingly. Severe symptoms and a high mortality rate mean it won't just disrupt societies, it will dismantle them. So it seems like it's being designed to do exactly what they're saying it will end up doing. Okay? So it's not by coincidence or by chance, it's actually by design, which we've been saying for this whole time. Okay? It says the C-19 demic exposed cracks in global health systems. Sears will blow them wide open. Okay, so think about the introduction of lockdowns, right? They're saying Sears is going to blow that out the water. Okay, because prior to 2020, nobody was really used to that. Nobody had ever experienced anything like that. Remember? I mean, where was that? In America? No, everybody was free. Everybody had to do, they did what they wanted to do, when they wanted to do it, how they wanted to do it, and so on and so forth. And then the lockdowns came and it became a thing where it was like, oh, we're in the lockdown. Like that was the thing. It was accepted, And it went on for quite some time, a few months, enough, long enough for people to be conditioned enough for it to come back, and they will still accept it, and they associated their freedoms being stripped away as a form of a health protocol. You have people standing, I saw pictures and videos of people standing 6 feet apart at airports, and then you see them hop on a plane and they sit right next to each other. Like, what kind of idiotic shit is this? Right? So what's that all about? See, you go to a store, they got them arrows. You people walk over here, and then those coming this way, they walk on that side. And it was like circles, and you can only stand here, and if you're in line, it was just a whole lot of bullshit, Well, they're saying this is going to blow it out the water, right? You had to do testing, right? Mad people were getting tested, even if they didn't have to. They were just doing it just because they felt something. Man, fuck that. We didn't do that shit. you know? And then, of course, eventually they had the masking situation. People were just putting it on just because it made them think or feel safer, right? It just exposed a whole lot of dumbass people. That's all it did, right? That you can walk around suffocating yourself and think that you're healthy. I mean, people like that, they just gotta go, And then eventually they came out with the Vanessa, right? And then people end up going straight take the jump shot. You have people parading. If you don't take it, you're stupid, you're dumb. Oh, it's those who haven't taken their jump shot, they're the problem. Da 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 da. All those theatrics and everything like that. Come to find out that these Vanessas don't work. And then they came out and told you that these things don't work, so come get a booster. And people went ahead and took the and booster, And then they came out and said, oh, this thing really doesn't work at all. It's not going to stop transmission. It's not going to stop you from not getting it. None of that stuff. It's not going to do anything for you, but just take it just so you took it. It's like stupid shit, So we saw all these things happen. We sat back and we were watching it. We said, okay, we'll see how it ends, So for us, it's more of we're watching the steps that leads to the MOTB. So the road map that we're looking at is a little different from that of those who don't know where the destination is, right? What the destination is, which is the rest of the world. So count yourself blessed if you know the truth, because it makes your walk a little bit much more much more easier, much more easier, So continuing, it says, one glaring lesson from the C-19 demic was the deadly cost of indecision and incompetence. During the catastrophic contagion exercise, one thing became crystal clear: weak leadership skills. Countries that dithered, debated, and delayed containment measures suffered exponentially worse outcomes. Seers won't wait for politicians to stop squabbling. Gates and his collaborators emphasized that every second counts. National leaders who fail to act decisively will doom their populations to unimaginable suffering. You hear that? You hear that? That sounds like Jacob's trouble to me. Okay, that sounds like what we've been talking about pertaining to the scriptures as a time like never before, right? That sounds very much like perplexity of nations, if you ask me. That sounds like the curse, the plagues that the Lord said he's going to put upon, the face of the earth for all the wickedness that they have committed. Okay? So it's coming. It says, but leadership isn't just about making tough calls. It's about taking responsibility. Are governments ready to enforce lockdowns? There you go. See? Are governments ready to enforce lockdowns? The answer is yes. Why? Because they have the money to back or take you out. See? If you don't enforce it, we're going to take you out. Right? And also, think about it. Once that One Accord Treaty is fully set in stone, nations are going to have no choice but to enforce lockdowns, because once the WHO calls it, you got to just do it. It says, are they ready to close borders and mobilize resources to scale never seen before, or on a scale never seen before? You hear that? Mobilize. That's when you're going to start seeing the new technological rollouts, all in the name of health and safety and so on and so forth. And the more they roll them out, the more you will notice that your freedoms, right, are being taken away more and more and more, right? And they're creeping more and more into your body, more and more and more and more. Okay? It says, because if they're not, they will be complicit in the chaos, right? So he's letting you know, right? That's another code name or code way of saying, if you don't allow us to incorporate these new things that we gonna put in, then we gonna make your countries a living hell type shit. You know? So it says, here's the kicker. Vanessa's may be our only shot, literally. The catastrophic contagion exercise hammered home the importance of preemptive Vanessa development. C-19 Vanessas were developed at record speed, but Sears won't allow for such a learning curve. Gates and his team are calling for Vanessas to be ready before the first outbreak. And they already have that, right? I saw a video, I think it was yesterday, and it was the former health commissioner, and she was saying that the Biden administration should go ahead and ask the FDA to approve the H5N1 Vanessa and start giving it out and start giving, doing tests, right? In her case that she was pitching was, the reason why the cases are so low right now is because there's not enough testing going on. And that's true, right? Because if you test for anything and you just label it just because somebody got a test, then you're gonna get the results you're looking for. See? Now trust and believe, a lot of people are getting sick right now as we speak. But just because it's not, number one, that nobody's going out to get tested because it's not something that's been told, right? Nobody's really pushed it yet. Once they start pushing it, CDC comes out, WHO comes out, and those two are going to be working very, very close together, right? You're going to be hearing the news. You hear the news media tell you, and they're going to drive it home, that the officials, the experts, those from the World Health Organization and the CDC have been telling us, hey, you go get tested. People are going to start getting tested because they told them, right? A lot of people getting sick right now, they just think they got the flu and then that's good. No, you got the bird, the angry bird. But because it hasn't been called that yet, people just, it's nothing crazy. Once they start pushing that, you're going to see, hey, everybody got that. Just like CV, before it was called, I got COVID, it was Corona, and nobody went around calling it, I got COVID. What the hell is, you got COVID? What the fuck is a COVID? A certificate of Vanessa identification. That's what that is. See? And what happened at the end of it all? You had to get a certificate to show that you were Vanessa'd. You see? So we gonna see, man. We gonna see. All right. But yeah, they're definitely gonna be using those two demonic entities, the WHO and the CDC. All right. Which really should be CDCP, but they don't put the P there because they don't prevent shit, right? They're going to be pushing that heavy, and they're going to be the one to steer people however they want, all right? So continuing, it says, governments must pour billions into research now. Pharmaceutical giants must collaborate, not compete. Of course. Why would they compete? The competition part was the past 4 years. Now they have to work together against the people. So when they pitch the words in a way that's to sound cool, like, oh, they're coming together, they're not going to compete. Well, they're collaborating against you, the people, on a mass scale. Okay? So what Pfizer is going to be giving you, Moderna is going to be giving you the same thing. It's not going to be, oh, I got the Pfizer or the Moderna. No, it's going to be the same shit. They're working together. All right. It says, and regulatory systems must streamline processes, cutting through red tape without compromising safety. That's a red flag. You can't cut through red tape without compromising safety. It's an oxymoron. You can't do that. There's a reason why there's a red tape there. Once you cut it, safety is gone. It's just these devils, bro. It says, this is not a drill. It's a race against an invisible enemy that will strike with ruthless precision. You hear that? I'm sure we've heard that phrase before, an invisible enemy. And who was the president during that time? Yep, you guessed it. Anyway, continuing, it says, the physical toll of demics is devastating, but the psychological fallout is is equally destructive. Seers will plunge the world into fear, right? It'll plunge the world into fear. That means get ready. There's going to be a lot of fear porn. There's going to be a lot of propaganda. There's going to be a lot of hysteria. Okay? It says it will plunge the world into fear, isolation, and uncertainty on a scale we've never experienced. If C-19 triggered a mental health crisis, seers will ignite a psychological inferno. Damn. It says communities will fracture, economies will crumble, and individuals will break under the weight of prolonged stress. Okay? Sounds like get a quick precept here. Okay. Let's see what we got. Sounds like not a good time at all. It's not a good time at all. All right, here's the book of Ezekiel. There's the book of Ezekiel, chapter let me see here. Ezekiel chapter 7. Start off at 1. It says, Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Also thou son of man, thus saith the Lord power unto the land of Israel, an end. The end is come upon the four corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and I will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, an evil, an only evil, behold, is come. An end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. Okay? And when we talk about all the end time prophecies, it culminates with this, right? Communities will fracture, economies will crumble, and individuals will break under the weight of prolonged stress. Okay? So that's when you're going to see people rioting, taking up in the streets, fighting against their governments and so on and so forth, because you ain't got no food, right? This BF, if it's going to do what they say it's going to do, right, then it's going to affect the food automatically, okay? Because they're saying that they're going back. I think I was making a point about that former health commissioner. Not only did she say that they should make the testing and everything available, but she also said that the farmers should be getting that H5N1 thing. They should be getting it first. Okay, so if they're getting it, that means that they're going to be giving it to the animals too. So they're going to be killing off them animals in the name of saving the animals, and they're going to end up killing off the farmers in the name of saving the farmers. And if they're doing that, that's going to be a problem, because now your food is gone, and those who actually process to get you the food, they also out of there. So now you left with who? Bill Gates sitting there waiting for you. See? So continuing, it says, governments that fail to invest in mental health infrastructure. Listen to this shit. Mental health infrastructure. What does that mean? Right? It says we'll face a population in crisis. The time to act is now, because once Sears hits, there won't be time for second chances. Okay? It says the impact of Sears won't just be felt in hospitals, it will ripple through every sector of society. Every sector of society. The simulation revealed that global supply chains, already fragile, will collapse under the weight of widespread infection and death. Okay? Labor shortages, skyrocketing healthcare costs, and a loss of consumer confidence will plunge the world into economic darkness. And there you go. So now you're going to have people out of work, okay? And you're also going to have the system in disarray. So these two things, you combine those two things, is going to lead to mass death, mass chaos. And that's exactly what they're looking for. Okay? That's exactly what they're looking for. So continuing, it says, let me see if I could, it says, governments that, hold on. I think I missed. Okay, governments that fail to prepare for these shocks will face mass unemployment, okay, mass unemployment, civil unrest, and systemic collapse. The only way forward is economic resilience. Diversify supply chains, invest in automation. That means more robots in the fields where people used to man. Okay, a perfect example would be the Longman's Shoreman, that thing. I forgot their name. That they had their whole strike earlier this year, or the later part of this year. Okay, I believe it was in, I want to say September or October. Okay, it must have been October somewhere. And they said that they're gonna have another standoff or something come January. Okay, they have another standoff coming in January, and this time these elites and these corporation owners, they might say, "Yo, you guys, if you want to be out, shit, you don't gotta be out. We kicking your asses out, you know." And that's going to be a problem because automation is basically robots taking over all the jobs that people will be doing. You know, you motherfuckers out here talking about they going on strike. Strike now, it's not like how it used to be back then. Back then, you had machines that needed people to man. See, factories that needed people to be there to man. Now, the machines are doing everything. And people being there is more of a nuisance because if you're a company and you paying somebody, you know, let's say $30 an hour, right? Just an example, $30 an hour to, maneuver a forklift, right? And you pay him all this money, but he comes in late, you know, so that delays the packages being pushed onto the truck, okay? And then that delays the truck that he needs to be at a certain time to deliver the packages and so on and so forth. You got some of the dudes that are sitting around, joking around. You know, I saw a video where there was this Jake who said he doesn't do shit at work. That was his thing. I don't do shit at work. And he's recording it. And all he does literally just sit on the packets and pallets and shit. And he just be on his phone, chilling, recording, laughing with his buddies. These corporation people, they see all this stuff. And they get mad, and then they plan on how they can do it to get your ass out without them being liable. Because if they do it outright, then it's going to look like, oh, you just wrongful termination, and it could bring lawsuits and all. No. So they say, okay, best thing is if we get all these robots to do what these niggas can't do, then we're going to be good. Number one, the robot not going to be sitting around talking about, I don't do shit at work. All right, that's number one. Number two, you don't got to pay the robot $30 an hour, so that's extra $30 in your pocket, right? You multiply that $30 by 40 hours a week, or sometimes more. That's a lot of money. Or maybe about for what? Sometimes 600, 700 factory workers. That's a lot of money. You keep it in your pocket. All right, it goes into the millions, right? Thousands of dollars, if not millions, right? And then the robots are also going to be on time because now the truckers can pull up and the trucks are already loaded because the robots already got it done. They didn't have to wait for, inconvenient weather, or, this guy is running late, or this guy was falling asleep, or this guy got hurt, or he called out. Nope, none of that. All right, so these companies are thinking about all these things, and that's why they're bringing in automation. Okay, and plus it's just the age that we're in right now. All these companies are finding it convenient to save money. You know, it's all about money, you know. So continue, says, and prepare for the worst. because seers won't wait for your spreadsheets to balance. Okay. And yeah, that's let me see if there's a little bit more here. There you go. It says Gil Bates and the WHO have sounded the alarm. Seers is coming, and it will not wait for us to get our act together. If governments, corporations, and individuals fail to rise to the challenge, in other words, comply, the consequences will be catastrophic. Simple. They're letting you know. This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about survival. The world has been warned. 2025 is around the corner. The question isn't if seers will arrive. It's whether we'll be ready to face it. Okay? So that should tell you everything you need to know about the next coming demic. All right, that's going to be carefully engineered by the likes of Gil Bates and people like him. Okay, and it's all going to be fulfilling biblical prophecy. Okay, biblical prophecy. All right, so let's get this in the book of 2nd Ezra real quick. All right, let's see what we got. 2nd Ezra. Because this is what Ezra saw. Okay. He saw all these things coming to pass. Right? 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse let me see. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse, let's start off at 11. It says, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." Right? So the Lord is saying that just like how he delivered the children of Israel, right, in ancient Egypt, it started with the plagues. Remember how the Lord plagued the land of Egypt, Mizraim, and the Pharaoh, okay, and the Mizraimites, all right, the Egyptians, I should say. All right, he plagued them, all right, with 10 different plagues, okay. The Lord is saying that he's going to do a similar thing over here. He's going to plague Egypt, meaning he's going to create scenario after scenario after scenario that's going to be very, very uncomfortable for America and its people. Okay. It says verse 13, it says, verse 12, "Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Heavenly Father shall bring upon it." Okay, and how is the Lord going to be doing all these things? He's going to be doing it through these devils, man. Okay, because again, that's his sword. Okay, the wicked is his sword. So he's giving them the ideas to come up with these things to accomplish their lot. Okay, that's why they're so proud in doing what they do. See, to them, it's accomplishing something. It's leading towards an end goal, but it's not an end goal that benefits them in the long run, right? It ends their goal, which is to end everything, which is what being the man of sin / the son of perdition, meaning the son of destruction. Okay, so to them, everything must end in destruction. That's just who they are. Okay, if it doesn't end in destruction, then the goal hasn't been accomplished. Okay, it says verse 13. It says, "They that till the ground shall mourn," right? The farmers, all right, "for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh," right? You've seen all this technological advancements, all this AI talk, right? And you've heard them talk about it, saying that, oh, AI could be to the destruction of humanity, so to speak, right? Which we brought out before, what AI stands for. Okay, going back to the time of our conquering of the nations, starting with Jericho. The second city that we took over was known as Ai, otherwise pronounced as Ai, okay, which means a heap of ruins, okay? And that's exactly what AI is intended to do, all right? It's gotten to the point where Those who are the makers of AI are afraid. All right. Those who are creating all these robots and so on and so forth are saying the same exact thing, that this thing is getting out of hand and so on and so forth. Right. So it says, for their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Okay. What's going to cause people to get to that point? You have political turmoil. You have economic turmoil. Okay. Which leads to financial and so on and so forth. All right. So all these things culminates to people taking to the streets, fighting against each other, otherwise known as a civil war. Okay. And it's going to be a uncivil civil war, very violent. Okay. That's going to lead to martial law. Okay. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay, so we're reading about the end result of what this whole Demic 2025 shit that Gil Bates and his cronies are cooking up in their kitchen and their labs, okay, their biolabs, okay, is going to result in society looking like how Ezra saw it, as we're reading right now. Okay, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. That's the key. Great tribulation. Lack of bread and great tribulation. All right. That perplexity, that trouble, okay, that tribulation. All right. All these things encompass one time period, and we're entering into that time period. Looks like 2025 could be, all right, the beginning of that. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there. Lord willing, you are edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash, the Wada Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, and until next time, Shalom.